really trebly. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another Ubase Hangout. Today, we're doing a Ubase live thing. So, got my loop pedal here. I just looped that groove. I'm gonna add stuff to it, a little drum beat and little other things, and basically just do stuff like this today. If you have any questions about anything, let me know in the chat, and we'll just keep going with stuff like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see what we got here. 2, 3. That's a good one. I'm gonna lose the drum groove. I'm gonna have to do it again. This should be like a hi-hat kind of sound. Try this little guitar part again. 1, 2, here we go. 3, 4. Forgot that I had a change in there. There's the loop. So I stop the loop pedal, the recording of the loop pedal. I can solo over it. Use a little more high end and mids. Maybe even touch more volume. So who's watching over here? I'll do the pop-out chat and see what's going on. All right, hey Alan, hey Seth, how are y'all doing? So yeah, thanks for making it out, Seth. Very cool. We're just hanging out and doing whatever. Yeah, so if you have a request or if you have a question about anything, let me know. But yeah, mostly I'm just gonna be like making loops, playing songs, making up songs, and just answering questions. Anything y'all got for me? I kind of like this groove. It's something I commonly do, though, to be honest, this idea, necessarily this exact groove. But basically, I do a C minor kind of thing. And I do it for like 2 bars. Then I go down to an A flat major chord. And then I go quick beat on the way up. So it's like I walk back into the groove at that point. And it just kind of feels natural to do. So it's like I didn't even have to think to do that because my brain just has that as one of the default progressions that I kind of go into. So that's kind of an important thing to talk about, I think, is sometimes you can just have a default progression in your head and build a groove around it. And it can still be kind of a unique groove. It just kind of comes out like that. key I was in. Yeah, so then when I'm soloing over it, there's a common chord tone between the C minor chord and the A flat major 7 chord, and that's the C note. Really, there's two of them, right? There's the C and the E flat. Both those notes are in both of those chords. So that way I don't really have to think in a different kind of manner within the scale. I can kind of play the same way over both of them. So I can get away with doing a lick like that. And it works over both chords. So I get to resolve to the same notes, that C or that E flat over either of them. And if I resolve to the G, then it just turns that A flat major 7 in, or sorry, an A flat major into an A flat major 7 chord. And with the C chord, it's just the fifth of the C minor. So see, it's just the fifth of that C minor chord, that G up here. But then when I keep playing it, it turns that A flat into a major 7 chord. So there's a little theory for you. But if you guys have any questions, just go ahead and let me know. I'm going to keep checking by doing the pop-out chat every now and then. Yeah. So Alan, you like this one? It's cool. Yeah, it's pretty simple and easy. And then I kind of just let my mood dictate how the how the bass line turns out. Like, am I kind of in this like kind of serious kind of rock kind of mindset or something, or am I feeling the funk? You know, sometimes I'll do something a little more funky and syncopated. Let me pick a different key. I'm gonna do a funk thing. Do you guys want to pick the key? That one was C minor, but you just tell me if you want a what key you want, and that would be cool. Can you do an E flat 11 to an F11 progression? Let me think about that for a second, like how to voice it to where we have the 11s in there, but where it really feels like it's the 11s, and it doesn't feel like it's just a chord and an inversion. I guess you could do that. So you have an E flat chord, but we're going to do the 11. So not a sharp 11, but just a natural 11. So I'm trying to think. Do we want the 7th on it too? I guess if it has the 11, it could have the 7th on it too. So it would be like kind of an E flat 11, leaving out a lot of stuff. We go into an F, you said? Sorry. It's kind of a cool tonality. Let me try that real quick and see what happens. Problem is I don't have a lower E flat than that. What would make them sound more like those chords? I'm trying to think. Kind of weird. It doesn't sound like it's that. I ended up making them both dominant, like not dominant 7s, but I gave them both the flat 7 in there too. And now it's almost sounding more like it's a A flat chord with an A flat 11 moving to a B flat 11, even though I was really implying the other thing. Oh, minor 11 chord. Yeah, I didn't make this major or minor. 11th fret on the E string. Let's see. 13th on the A. 11th on the D. So that's that flat 7. Root 5th, flat 7. And you got the 11th on the G string. I'm seeing a root, a 5th, a flat 7th, and a minor 3rd. So I'm not sure if that one would be a minor 11 chord. It's a minor 7 chord. I'm not seeing the. Let me read through it again and make sure I'm not missing one of those. 11th fret on the E string, so that's E flat. Then 13th fret on the A, that's our 5th of the chord. 11 on the D string, so 11th fret on the D string. That would be our flat 7. Almost sounds the same way. And then if you did 13 on the G string, then that would give you more of that 11 sound. But then there's nothing making it minor. So if you're really trying to make it an 11, you would do that instead of doing the 11th fret down there. So it's really, that one's really the root, the 5th, the minor 7th. Oh, sorry, yeah, the minor 7th, and then the minor 3rd. So that's really a E flat minor 7 chord. Do you want that instead? Is that what you're trying to say? The only thing that would make it the other chord that you're talking about is literally just moving the note on the G string up 2 frets, and then someone else, I guess, would have to imply the fact that it's minor, if that makes sense. That's more like the 11 chord. Yeah, so if we did the the shape you're talking about and just move that same shape up, or do you want me to make one of them major, or do you want them both to be minor? Let's see. So yeah, if we just did that, that's just a minor 7th chord with the 5th in it. I could do the same kind of idea. But honestly, when I do that, I just omit the 5th and just do the 11th fret on the E string, 11th fret on the D string, and 11th fret on the G string. And then not make my pinky work hard. But you can do that either way. It's still in the chord. You could also play the I don't know. You could also play the chord a different way. Root, flat 3rd, flat 7th, which makes it the minor 7 chord. And then you could get that 11. The 11 of the chord would be the 13th fret on the G string. So that's actually the minor 11 chord. Stroko says, any tips for changing the rubber strings? I'm not really, this is terrible to say. The only time that I've removed a string, I just put the same string back on the rubber strings. I was doing, when I did the, where I was cutting the saddle, that's really the only time that I've removed rubber strings and then put them back on. But basically, there's a good Kala video on how to do that. So I mean, you know, you have a knot on one end that the strings kind of come with, and you got to trace them through the body. What I would recommend is if you have a back plate, take the back plate off and feed them through one at a time. But depending on what kind of strings you're getting, if you're doing the pahoehoes or if you're doing the Aquila strings, either one's the Thunder Guts or the Thunder Blacks, you would do a different thing there. 2nd fret dug a hole in the back of the string until it cracked and popped. 2 years plus. Yeah, okay. What kind of strings were they, just out of curiosity? Which brand rubber strings? Because I've had mine on the Wanderer for 3 years. I think I've had the Wanderer for 3 years. I never changed the strings. But Kala has a video that can probably help you because you feed, that part you just feed the string through. On this end with the Aquilas, they're not quite as stretchy. So you can kind of get away with, cutting them a certain length, having it round maybe 3 times, around here. So cut it that length that it would end up wrapping around that much. And then you can even stick them in the hole, down here and then hold it down and tighten it. But with the pahoehoes, they say that they don't work as well like that. They stretch more and take a longer time to set. So if you get those strings or strings like those, then there's a certain kind of knot you have to tie on maybe the D and the G string, one or both of those. And Kala has a video on that as well. So I've watched the video, but I've never done that because I don't have any basis with the pahoehoe strings. But it depends on what you're putting on there. And then when you go to put them on, you know, if you're doing the Aquillas, you put it down in the hole, you hold it down, and you tighten it. You know, you don't have to hold it down all the way. You just have to hold it down so that it wraps underneath as it goes. That's what I usually do. Some other people would probably suggest something like some sort of knot that gets it to stay. But I think the Aquillas are probably easier to change, judging by the fact I took them off and that was how they were set. They were down in the hole like that. So I'm pretty sure those are the Aquillas on the that were on the cheaper bass that I have, the fretless one over there. So I would say that. Or Seth, yeah, what does Seth say about the Aquila Thunder Guts and Thunder? It was easier than you thought. Was it like I'm saying, where you could just stick it down in the hole and just kind of do it like an ordinary electric bass string, or was it a little bit different? Any troubleshooting or anything that I may not know about, Seth? Yeah, let him know. Help him out. Appreciate y'all doing that and being there. So I've never broken any strings on the U bass, and I'm going to say that and then hope that that remains true. You know. So it was like an ordinary bass string. Cool. Yeah, so then you can just look up how to change a bass string if you can't find a video on that. But it sounds like it's going to be pretty straightforward and pretty easy. So that's the good news if you get more Aquila strings. Awesome. Can you play? Well, it's missing some frets to be able to do the intro. It's missing this fret up here, so I can kind of imitate it. Yeah, I can play a little bit of it. I like that part that's like, yeah, the intonation is going to make it sound awful. And also the tone on the flat wound strings is a little weird. I guess I could do the shorter version of the chord instead of having that in there. Where would the 24th fret be? Be way up here. Okay. Confirm with that. Nope. There's that cool lick in there. That's all I can kind of do. I'm trying it. Okay, so Alan, unfortunately, I got rid of the Warrior. I no longer have the Warrior bass. So I just had some things I needed to do, and it was just time to part with it. The main reason I got rid of the Warrior bass is because of how wide the 6-string neck was. It was requiring me to kind of bend my wrist too much in order to play. I never figured out a good technique to do that right. And when I finally got it fixed, I went to play it, and I was having fun jamming on it, and my wrist started hurting after like 5 minutes. So it was just like, yeah, someone else needs to be able to play it that doesn't have the same wrist issue that I have. So unfortunately, I don't have the Warrior anymore. I still have my 6-string Ibanez. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I have a 6-string Ibanez fretted. I have a fretless one that I need to get fixed. Basically, it just needs a new battery connector for the 9-volt. And I've just been putting that off because I've been having fun with the U-bases and having fun with other bases. But yeah, I still have those two Ibanezes. So one of the Ibanezes has Bartolini's, the other one's the kind of cheaper model, but it had been converted to a fretless. So it's pretty cool. The person that did the conversion knew what they were doing. And yeah, I just have to get that one part of it fixed. Well, I haven't played it in months. I'll go grab that for you. But yeah, if we're getting kind of sidetracked, I was gonna play something with the looper. Although that loop that I had started for you is still there. Yeah, it doesn't work very well with the rubber strings, Novix. It doesn't work very well with the rubber strings, unfortunately. I kind of want to do something with this before we mess with that, if that's cool. Let's see. I kind of like that groove. That's pretty fun. Yes, slapping on the Wanderer. If you guys want to hear what that would sound like, trying to do that with the Wanderer, I will grab the Wanderer, throw some batteries in it. I think I've got a couple here. For some reason, I have one battery compartment with 2 batteries in it out. I'm hoping they're still working. If they are, you can hear quite the difference. The hardest part, I think, with the rubber strings is your fingers can kind of like stick to them, so it causes the timing to be a little bit iffy. So I haven't played this one in a minute, so let me just see if it's in tune real quick. No, it's not. Oh, I got kind of pretty good. Sounds like it's buzzing. There's a new buzz on one of the strings, I guess. Let's see. What was it? My favorite part's the. My fingers are sticking too much to get the. There we go. Let me do that whole section again. Was it I can't do it. Oh man, it's been too long. That's hard to do. But it's kind of a fun thing to do. Try to make it work. That part's actually not too bad on here because the tapping is just easier than on electric. And he's just doing a pretty simple kind of bass line underneath a pretty simple melody. So he's got the bass line just doing root, fifth, seventh, fifth, root, fifth, seventh, fifth, octave, fifth, seventh, fifth. And then over the top of that, he's going 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 5, 4, third, second, root, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, fifth, right? We'll see. But then you got to keep the groove going too, and I don't think I'm getting that chunk as nice as it should be. It's a backbeat on 2 and 4. We just did one on backbeats pretty recently, right? So that's kind of the thing. Is like you got 3 things going on. You got the bass line, you got the melody, so, and then you got that chunk where you're just playing the note harder to get that extra slap. So it's like I'm kind of like strumming 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. But then I think it leaves out the melody note when he's playing the bass note, like. So yeah, so it's kind of tricky to do. We'll see. But yeah, it's kind of fun, but it's really hard to do. So working on the accuracy. I wish you luck on that part. That's when you get there. Yeah. Whoops. I can't remember that little bump. Dun, dun, dun. It does like a cool little like double thump combined with tapping thing. You know, but I can't quite remember that one. I can't remember. I don't think we have enough frets to do it on the U bass anyway. So that's the other problem, is there's just some spots where we can't really do the higher notes without figuring out some sort of false harmonic or natural harmonic alternative, depending on which note it is. But yeah, that's pretty fun. All right, so I'm going to pick a different key, play something else. I'll get the 6th string out in a minute. I'm going to wait on that. But does anybody have any questions about anything so far? Because we kind of covered a lot of stuff. I don't know if it says nice shirt. Yeah, so y'all can't read it probably, but it says The Wolf of Wall Street. So just kind of making fun of making fun of that movie, The Wolf of Wall Street, with the Dogecoin kind of idea. Can you crazy slap like Ryan Martini or Hendrik Linder? I'm not quite sure if I can do it quite like them. Because I don't know which aspect of it. I'm not quite sure what would be considered crazy slap. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure. I'd have to hear the specific thing, and I can probably do that. Yeah, so I mean, that kind of stuff. I mean, I think the Victor Wooten stuff, it's harder because it's mostly popping. There's a lot of doing multiple notes there. He redid the way he played it to do a faster version where he doesn't do it the same way, but yeah, he changed it up a little bit, and it makes it a lot easier to get that feel. But yeah, I mean, I like doing slap stuff. Yeah, so another guy to check out like that is Mark King. He does a lot of like, I don't know, I can't imitate him. You have to slap so light on the rubber strings or else it sounds really awful because you get a whole lot of buzz. Right, like that. So if you play a lot lighter and kind of use the volume to do the work for you, it probably works better. So I'm going to turn it down on here and turn it up on the amp. Yeah. Yeah, so I've got certain patterns that I do, but it's a lot easier on the full scale electric. But yeah, those bass players are awesome. So it's Mudvayne's bass player and Dirty Loop's bass player, right? Yeah. All right. Let's see. I keep staying in this this little box pattern. I keep saying grid, but box pattern. I want to do something other than that. But yeah, I'm still doing it. Okay. So when I do these loop things, I like keeping it simple and keeping it all in one range, because if you go too high with the bass line, it'll clash with the chords, it'll clash with the other part, and then you have to like do harmonics to kind of stay out of the range of that, so that you can have a bass line, a drum part, a melody, and all that stuff going on at once. But ooh, that note is still buzzing on me. I'll try to play it a different way. Always on 2 and 4, I guess. Hi-hat, but it's quiet enough in the mix. Okay, I'm imitating a hi-hat there. I'm doing that kind of thing. So that's a G minor. So that gives me a lot of room. I could play the chords up here. I could play them kind of in the middle down here. I could reverse the order of these and play the third of the chord here instead. And then the seventh of the chord up there. So. I changed the rhythm up on it. Oh well. I guess one thing I want to say is I have like a rhythmic cadence on this one, right? It's a 4-measure groove, bump, bump, bump. Kind of at the end is a rhythmic cadence that makes it feel like it's over and starting over again. So that rhythmic cadence is like 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E. So 1E and when it gets to it, it's right here. 1E and a 2E and, right? So it just kind of makes it sound a little more conclusive or something. The cool thing about G is you have that open G string. So if you do a minor scale on the G string and just do hammer-ons and pull-offs, then you kind of have a lot of notes and a cool texture that you can do out of that. Or you can just play the notes and kind of play open strings in between them. So it's just good to have a whole bunch of different just theory kind of things up your sleeve, right? Or a lot, what I was gonna say is rhythm more than the theory. If you just use the G minor scale and you have like an octave and a couple of extra notes of it, then you can really do a bunch of stuff with just different rhythmic ideas. You can start more slow, right? Or it's all just using G minor notes. You can literally do all that just on the G string. You can do some tapping stuff if you want to. Oh, I made a Dorian by accident. I kind of like it though. What I did to make it Dorian was just raise the sixth note up. So you might notice that I start doing some things that are a little bit that I start doing some things that are kind of thematic through the scale. So I'll do stuff like note down the scale, like maybe 1, 2, 3 notes down the scale, and I'll come back up, go down the scale again, come back up 1 note, go down 2 notes, up 1 note, down 2 notes, that kind of thing. And I can do that faster. It sounds kind of cool. And then I'll just change it up at the end. You don't want to do it too long, basically. So you kind of hear that I kind of take a theme and I try to develop it sometimes. And then some of the other ideas I think about when I'm kind of coming up with solos or just little melody lines is like a call and response, right? So you could have like the call is dun, 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 and the response could be like dun, 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 dun. Kind of has a similar thing at the end of it, but the beginning of it might be different, or vice versa. Then the first one again. And maybe the last response is completely different. But it's kind of like your phrasing kind of do that, where you say something and then you almost say something back to yourself, or you say something, then you say basically the same thing with a little bit, you kind of elaborate it a little bit. Kind of like, it's like you start simple, like, and then you kind of just do something different at the end to kind of develop it even more. All right, so that's your G minor lesson for the day. Who all is still here? Let me know in the chat. And I'm trying to remember the Peter Gunn theme. Was that like? I can't remember the exact notes. Shoot. I haven't played it in forever. I'm just going to look up a tab. That's going to be the easiest way to do this without getting copyright struck. Tab. Doesn't matter if it's guitar or bass. I can just look at it and then kind of imitate it. Okay. So I can at least do that part. I might do it up the octave though, because it'll sound like a farther. It wasn't a very detailed tab, by the way. Not sure if I'm crazy about what I just did there. Oh, well, I'll leave it. The problem with tabs, they don't give you the rhythm for the other parts. I just did the first part. Pop out tab thing disappeared. Yeah, so that's kind of a fun groove. Good. Sounds like it's out of tune. I wonder which string it was out. The D string, of course. The one that matters the most in the song. I might have to redo it just because it was out of tune. Awesome. Hey, Robert, how's it going? Good to see you again. I'm glad you could join. Let's one more time. Still sounds like the G string's out of tune. It's got some bass to it. I'm thinking more blues scale on this one. a fade out thing, isn't it? All right, that was kind of fun. I'm thinking my Wanderer might need new strings. I'm thinking more because of the intonation than anything else. But I'm not sure. It keeps going out of tune a little bit too. It might be that they're kind of slipping a little bit. Yeah, the D string, just the D string mostly. What's up with that? All right. That's one of my originals called Green Tea. And I just realized someone needs to make a debut on the live stream because she's just walking around down there. I got a little kitten. This is Melanie. She's also nicknamed Cornbread. And there she is. Now she wants to go right down. Okay. She decided to come in here, so I thought I would share that with you. So I have a little cat in here now with the little tiniest meow I've ever heard in my life. And just thought I would share her with you. Awesome. Well, yeah, Seth, that's awesome that you learned that song. For anybody that doesn't know already, that song is Green Tea. Yeah, Melanie Cornbread. That is her name. Very cool. But yeah, I was gonna try to do Stray Cat Strut this past week, but I didn't end up doing it because it would be kind of funny to make a little video and have her in it. So maybe I'll do that in the future. It's just it took more time than I had this past week. And yeah, she's down here. I just gotta hope she doesn't unplug anything or something. I think she's too tiny too. But it's all good. So does anybody have any questions about the U-bass, questions about the loop pedal, anything of that nature? Questions about the cat? Let me know who all's watching at the moment. I know Seth is, and there are 2 other people watching, so I'm just curious as to who they are. So that song was called Green Tea. I have another one that's kind of in a similar vein. I just gotta make sure she doesn't bite the power cord. Don't bite the power cord, kitty. It's not okay. And don't change the volume on the looper pedal either. Okay. Just making sure she doesn't do something silly. So Seth and Alan and maybe Robert. Either way, it's good to see you guys. So let's see if I can do the Going Camping song. Something like that. I always do a little bit of improvisation on that one. So Seth says, how did you come up with this one? Did you go camping? And so I didn't write it camping. I wrote it before I went camping because I was excited about going camping. So I was leaving, I think, later that day to go on a camping trip, and came up with a U-Bass song on the porch at the apartment I was at the time. So not exactly while camping, but before camping or something. Yeah. Oh, she's climbing up stuff. Just don't jump on the keyboard, Kitty. Okay. I'm going to change back to the other bass. Actually, if Alan's still here, can you play She Talks to Angels? Yeah, I mean, the bass line, I might simplify it a little bit when I play it, but it's mostly like that. Talks to Angel. I think it's kind of like that. I remember it goes to the 5 chord that he does some sort of, but it might be. I think it was the first one. And then the guitar does all that. All that major scale stuff going down. Yeah, so kind of basically I can give you kind of that much of it, and then there's a bridge section at some point, but that's really the majority of the song right there. There's a lot of that open, open, second open, then the 5th of the chord, and then the octave. At least that's how I played it when I played it with the band like 10 years ago or something. But great request. She Talks to Angels is a cool song. It's not super crazy of a bass line, but I really did like how when he went to the 5 chord. I can't remember if it's a slide in an octave hit or if it's a slide in a 5th hit, but either way. Could be that or it could be. But either way, it's just cool to have a slide in there and have that kind of rhythmic thing. So yeah, the answer is I've played it in a few bands, but I didn't like give it so much attention that I remember the exact bass lines. It's just something general ballpark of it. Okay, so I know that that Alan was asking if I could get my 6th string out. I have not played my 6th string in months, so it's probably got gross strings from sitting in the case. Something about this area, maybe the humidity makes strings corrode. But let me go grab that real quick. It'll take me about a minute. So if anybody comes in and they're like, where did he go? Why is he not on the screen? Just go ahead and let them know that I'm just grabbing another bass and coming back in. I'll be right back. And hello, what does it say? Ali? Hello, or all? Ali. Okay. I'll see you in a minute. It's not that bad. Okay. Might have to tune it up a good amount in a minute. And I don't know if this amp has enough things to tune it. Oh, it smells kind of bad from sitting in that case. So there's a tuner on the amp. That's kind of what I'm using to do this. What's the G's out of tuner? Okay, the volume's all the way down. Oh, is it Ali? Oh, Ali Star. I get it. The star is the word star. Gotcha. Nice. Yeah, so I kept this 6 string because the string spacing was closer, so that I don't have to put a weird angle on my wrist to play it. So I play a little bit differently on a full scale bass than a E bass. I'm going to turn it down a little bit because I'm sure that that's kind of overdriving the mic. Making a Dorian again, like I was on the other song. Another thing with the themes, right, where I'm going up like that. Ooh, this neck needs some work. Oh, okay. So as far as putting out bass samples, have I ever thought of doing that? That's the question. I've worked with somebody that's coming up with something called Loop Dude, and he got me to record a bunch of samples for him. So that might be coming out at some point. I don't know how far he is on that project, but yeah, I have thought about it in that regard, but not on my own. But I might in the future. You never know. It's a good idea. Are you guys getting tired of the 6-string? Can we go back to Ubase? Let me know. Can't do that kind of stuff on the rubber strings on the Ubase, you know. Yeah, so the thing about 6 strings is the first string, I guess, which totally the way we name the strings feels backwards when you add one on the bottom. But the thinnest string is a C, but it just sounds somewhere in between a guitar string and a bass string. It's got a weird tonality to it. I wonder if I need any sweep licks on here. Think for a second. Yeah, it's hard to do there. I'm going to do it in a different spot. Oh well, tried it. Yeah, so I got a low B and a high C, exactly. So the 4 strings that are like the U bass strings or any electric bass strings are in the middle. Yeah. Yeah. So there's some things that are a little bit easier to do on the electric bass. I'll go ahead and stop that so you can hear me over it. But there are a few things that I can do on this bass that I can't really do on Ubase because there's more string tension, and also just not being so short scale, being a longer scale, you hear things a little bit better in certain frequencies. So that's kind of the thing. Ukulele learning says that I need to learn cornbread and butter beans now that I have a cat that's named Cornbread. I'm guessing that's where you're coming from on that. I don't know where she went. She must be back on the couch or somewhere. Who knows where she is, exploring somewhere. But yeah, I probably should learn that or something to be able to play a song themed for her. Did that just short out on me? What just happened? I pulled this up. But yeah, that's the 6-string bass that I still have. So I no longer have the Warrior. I figured since it has such a wide neck, it was putting an angle on my hand. Somebody else doesn't have that issue that I have with my wrist. So I ended up selling it to somebody that hopefully is getting a lot of use out of it. I think they play at a church regularly, so hopefully it's getting played every Sunday. That's the plan. So Warrior, that company, they anoint their basses, so it just is very fitting to have those get played in a church. It's kind of cool. Just for the record. So that pattern, just so you guys know, I'm just doing the same pattern and moving it up the scale, where I'm going one note on the scale, pulling off to the open string, hammering onto the note that was below that scale. Then I have a second half that goes to 3rd fret, pull off to the 2nd fret, pull off to open. So it's 3 0 2 3 2 0. And then I just kind of move it up the scale, and that's kind of a cool thing to do. It's just like figure out one pattern really well on a tapping thing or just any sort of hand, right? And then figure out how you can move that pattern around. So like another one is like if I do down, up, pluck, pluck. I can just move this hand doing a whole bunch of different chords while that hand is keeping the same pattern going on that side. It could just be power chords like this, where I'm going, this would be 5th fret on the A string, 7th fret on the D string, and 7th fret on the G string. Yeah. Well, that's probably about it for this bass. What do you think of this one? It's good to know that it still plays pretty well, because I literally haven't played it in like I don't know, probably not a whole year, probably like 6 months or something. So this one's kind of an interesting bass, because I had just bought the Warrior, and then I was making a joke with my friend. We went to Guitar Center, and I was like, oh, I got to be careful because I'll buy a bass in there, or something. And we're like, we'll both end up walking out of here with instruments. And yeah, so then this one ended up sitting on the wall at Guitar Center. It was just sitting up like that. And I noticed it had, some damage to it or whatever, but for some reason it had an incredibly low price tag. It was used, and the strings were disgusting. They had like green fur growing on them is what it looked like. All that corrosion. There was just like, they were gross. So I pulled it off the wall anyway, because it had Bartolini's in it. I'm just thinking, okay, Bartolini pickups. Well, I just bought a, if you know how much Warriors are, I don't know if I want to name the price here, but a really expensive bass with Bartolini's in it. And then here's one that's like $125 that has Bartolini's in it. Even if they're the bottom of the line, the pickups are worth more than this price. So I took it down, I started playing it. It sounded like it had a short in it. I'm like, oh, that's why. So I'm like, I'll buy the bass and fix the short, and use it as like a just an experiment bass to learn how to work on things and everything. I got it, got home, popped the back plate off, which, yes, it's taped on there. That's one of the downsides of it. And the 9-volt battery had just come out of the part where it attaches, so it was just a loose connection. So I just popped the battery back in on the side that was out, and it's worked great ever since. So this is probably the best find I ever had as far as used instruments, especially at a place like Guitar Center. But yeah, it's a good 6-string bass. It's got a really thin neck, so that makes it kind of easy to reach and easy to play and everything. But yeah. And Alan, you probably can find a six string that's fairly cheap. I don't know about right now because everything just seems to be more expensive than it was, but hopefully you'll be able to. But yeah, it was kind of frustrating buying one that did everything that I needed to do for 1/20th the price of the other bass, and it was kind of like, hey, so I ended up deciding, ironically, to get rid of that beautiful boutique bass and just keeping this one for that reason. Really just the string spacing, the fact that they're closer together makes it easier for me to reach everything. Although I really liked the other string spacing because it was more like you'd find on a 4-string, where they'd be that wide apart all the way through, so that you didn't have to kind of like adjust your right hand to not accidentally play other strings. But I'll take that sacrifice in order to have this bass. But I've played many gigs with it. Probably the reason it smells is because I played in many smoky bars with it. It's the bass I would bring out when I didn't want to bring the Warrior out. So, it has newer strings, but I think the bass itself still smells a lot like smoke. But yeah, well, that's about it for that one. And honestly, that's about it for me. I've been on here for a little bit over an hour. I usually do about this long of a stream. So if anybody has any questions about either the 6-string bass, the U bass, I know someone had a string changing question earlier. So if you have a question, ask it now. Maybe I'll play a song while I'm letting you guys kind of come up with questions. I think I'll just do another loop pedal jam. That was kind of fun with this bass. Let's see. Given that you can hear it. That's weird. Not sure why we can't hear it. Let's see. Okay, not with this bass. I think the battery's too weak. Could be this chord though, honestly. Okay. Let's try the Journeyman. All right. I just grabbed a Squier Jaguar bass, surprisingly nice. Those are pretty cool. They're a little bit shorter scale, right, than a full scale. They're somewhere in between this and the other one. I got the Squier Classic Vibe series, and I got to say that one has really surprised me with how good it is. All right, what's going on here? This makes no sense because it's picking it up over here, but it's not playing. All right, a 32 scale. Okay, so that's a little bit shorter. Not much shorter, but a little bit. Yeah, I think they kind of remind me, like the Mustangs are very similar too, right? Ah, it was just the gain knob, of course. It's on my finger. Okay. I think the bass was gross. I'm not sure. Not sure what just happened. Okay. So here we go. Now I got some volume. Oh, it's the Jag Classic Vibe. Nice. Oh, a 5-string Classic Vibe. I think they probably played just like the 4-string ones. Those should be pretty good. So yeah, Alan, if you end up getting one of those, then awesome. Well, I hope you end up getting that bass because, yeah, believe me, that Classic Vibe series, I think that was one of the best purchases I made. I was talking about this one being like really good for the price. That one was also really good for the price. It got the tone that I wanted. It's like if you want to sound kind of like Marcus Miller, but you want to have that really classic 70s jazz bass sound. So any one of them from the 70s as well. The pickup's in the right place to where it has this nice bite to it. It's really good for kind of 70s like funk and disco and just all sorts of stuff like that. But it's also really good for like Marcus Miller songs. And then you're going to get the, let's see, we've got a 5-string Squier based on the quality of this Jag. Yeah, I highly recommend the Classic Vibe series. I've played on the Classic Vibe P bass. I'm tempted to get one of those pretty soon as well, because I play in the wedding band and we do a lot of Motown songs. So it'd be really cool to have that for the Motown songs. Very cool. Oh yeah, Mono Neon's awesome. Mono Neon is awesome. Another person that's awesome, Thundercat, has this 6-string bass. It looks like a giant version of this, really. It's sunburst than just this reddish color. But I went to NAMM a couple of years ago and got to pick that bass up and play it. It's a very expensive bass, but it's got flat wound strings kind of like this too. So very cool stuff. Yeah, I was very fortunate that they had that there. You know, they had the Ibanez booth, they had the Adam Nitty models, and then they had an Thundercats model, which was really cool. So I'm glad I play a 6-string Ibanez. They are really good if you get the right model, if you get one that you like, you know. But they have a lot of really good ones, and Thundercats is pretty crazy. Well, all right, guys, that about does it for me. Does anybody have any questions? Any other comments? Let's see. All right, well, thank y'all so much for hanging out. I hope y'all have a really good rest of your day. I will see you guys on Tuesday for just a normal video, and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time for the live stream. And yeah, the Loop Dude thing, I don't know when that's going to come out. It's basically one of the guys in the wedding band that I play. It's his project, and right now I think he's focusing on another project, but hopefully that'll come out. And he got me to bring a couple of U-basses and some other things, just to do some interesting stuff that people aren't used to hearing. So if he does come out with that, I'll probably mention it on the channel a few times. But I have no clue if that'll be a year from now, 6 months from now. It's probably not going to be super soon. But yeah, keep it in mind. Alan says, do you know any Thundercat songs now that you've mentioned it? I'd have to really learn them. I don't really know how to play any of them off the top of my head. There's a lot of stuff going on in those. All right, we all have a great one. I will see you guys next week. Once again, Tuesday for a lesson video. Sometimes it's review videos. This week it'll probably be a lesson video or a play along video. And then on Thursday for the live stream. All right, cheers. Have a good one. I'll see you all next time.